So it starts off with Batman spawn camping in the rain, opening up the vent and pulling up from the ceiling, standing upside down like Naruto. These thugs are not walking out of here in one piece. There's a transaction going on and bro takes the card and is now up 700 mil. I dare someone to give me 700 mil. I'm telling you right now, y'all gonna hate me. The first thing I'm doing is buying a restaurant and pricing everything on the menu at $1,000 just to serve out portions the size of my pinky toe. Y'all gonna be spending all y'all savings just to end up like these.
Come on, man, hook me up. What the fuck y'all doing? Y'all rationing around here? Come on, hook me up. 2 little fucking string beans? Give me the goddamn string beans.
He was walking, smiling like crazy, but got wrapped up with the quickness. And Batman comes flying down, socking one in the jaw and hitting a split kick. While the boss makes sure to carefully take back his money, Batman drops down in front of dude who is now broke again, who is like, "You idiot, you just messed everything up." Batman started cheesing, "You just mad, you broke," and went ahead to front flip into the punch to break the bald man's glasses. Left him so distraught, he got up and hopped in the V, while Batman punched the back up to sleep. The boss pressed the button, opening up the garage door, so bro in the trench coat said bet, pulled out the dual pistols and started spraying, making Batman have to run and hide, giving them enough time to try and escape. But Batman don't get paid enough to care about the well-being of criminals as long as they're put in handcuffs. Pushing these boxes towards them, and it turns out that they're explosives. What? Terry knew damn well what he was doing. He did that shit on purpose. But they managed to shoot through the explosives and drive off and cause Batman to roll into the system lock and accidentally opens up the vault where all the cops are hiding. But the criminals already escaped. Barbara walked through the crowd and Blondie immediately got to snitching, telling her that Batman is the one who messed up the sting operation. So Batman was like, "Bro, you know my work schedule. Why didn't you notify me beforehand? Dumbass nigga. This is why Bruce don't pay your ass. You can't do none right." So she ran over to see his boss, telling Bruce that not only is his tea trash, but his protege isn't good at his job. Plus, he has a criminal record. How come he's still walking? Break his legs or run him over with a car. Terry popped out and looked at Bruce, who wasn't amused at all. Barbara is giving a speech telling everyone to vote for her husband Steve Harvey for district attorney, but Mad Stan wasn't having that. Jumped down and pinned her to the wall, hit back this loser, and punched her useless husband across the screen, blowing up the doors and making sure everyone hears him talk his shit. Barbara tried to call for backup, but he grabbed her arm and told her that he wired the whole room anyway, stepping up and holding out the detonator, but gets shocked in the process, out there spazzing. And it turns out Batman was just hiding on the wall the whole time. Bro made sure to let Mad Stan hit a couple people first, letting the audience understand that without him, they can't defend themselves. "You a dickhead, that's right, that's my goat." The detonator gets fried and he tackles Bro to the wall and is trying to put him in a headlock, getting told to back off, ending up on a table and gets some bombs thrown his way, making him crash into the stage. Mad Stan is laughing, then changes his whole mood. Saw Batman flying through the smoke, ripping his vest and taking that shit right off. So he decides to blow up the vest. So he throws it away. And Mad Stan pulls out 2 guns, while there's just a bald-headed black man in the background, thinking this is just all fun and games. Batman uses some batarangs to stop Mad Stan and send him through another wall, hitting his head and getting up to a sprint. We see the whole building is just getting torn apart, and it's cause Mad Stan was spamming the firepower. He is looking confused when he's out of ammo, while I'm trying to figure out where he was hiding them in the first place. Throwing down the tools and places down a tank ready to blow up the whole floor. Bro's inventory is insane. He must be pulling these weapons out of his ass. Batman cut off the handle and ran up to stomp his neck in, and Barbara walks through, turning her head, seeing Batman absolutely rock Mad Stan, laying him out on the cold floor. But Mad Stan said something unforgivable. "Go ahead and lock me up, but when I get out, I'ma blow everyone up regardless." "Oh, you're right. Thanks for reminding me." Taking up the container and smacking the shit out of Mad Stan. Barbara talking about some "don't," while Batman just killed Bro with a metal barrel, pointing her gun at him and shooting at his feet, telling him not to run. Terry is about to go home and see the cops at his front door asking for him. So he said, "Oh no, and ran over to Max's, calling Bruce, saying he doesn't know why the cops are looking for him. So Bruce explains to him that Barbara saw him kill Mad Stan. Terry said, "Hold up, what you mean kill? Barbara is like 75, she a fossil anyway. Her eyes don't even work. All I did was hit him with my elbow." So Bruce pulled out the camera footage, but there was some sort of interference. So Batman goes back to work to figure out what's going on, looking for Mad Stan's body, opening up the pod, but bro's body was gone. And before he could even move, the alarm went off and he was surrounded outside by the police. He had to pull out a smoke bomb, but they pulled out a fan real quick to clear the area. Look at his pilot, showing nothing but teeth, getting ready to shoot down Batman. Batman must have caught him stealing candy from the corner store or something. Ain't no way he's this ecstatic. Shooting him down off the rooftop, landing onto a ship and getting caught. Landing the ship just to find out that he vanished. Making his way to steal from them and went through an abandoned building. Running outside, looking around just to get pulled up on by Barbara. I know he was pissed. He had to run back inside and close the door. Bruce is still analyzing the footage and sees that Terry is an innocent man and takes a closer look, seeing a silhouette in the background, calling up Barbara, who's busy shooting at Terry, hanging up on Bruce. So he calls up Terry and tells him to look, and he sees Spellbinder, the worst, most annoying villain to ever be mentioned in this show. This nigga is dressed up looking like a malnourished tiger. Someone come get this failed magician off my screen. Batman pretends to surrender and launches a batarang right at Spellbinder before tackling him to the ground and telling Barbara to change her glasses. She needs to do better next time. We see someone laying under a truck, hiding, sprinting across the screen. This guard is giving the thumbs up, telling the pilot it's a-okay. He ain't guarding shit. And we see that it's Kurare holding onto the plane. This man picks up the phone, getting a call from this dude saying that he's scared because Kurare is after them. But bro's security guard was gone. He got up with the quickness and saw bro asleep, and Kurare with the sword out. So he pulled out the blade and started shooting. Got it smacked away and was weaving for dear life. He had to equip the shurikens and was struggling to aim. Someone else showed up but got slapped. I was like, damn.
Good man? No.
He throws a shuriken that scratches the fit. She had to pull out a pill with some sort of acid to burn his fit and walk towards him with disrespect. Seeing that he was a dead man, flipped over the bodyguard with ease and calmly walked out and cut open the door, making her way out with a jetpack. And bro was on the phone the whole time. He had to hang up and made his way over to Batman, getting his attention and saying that his name is Butha from the Society of Assassins, and told Batman that he needs his protection from Kurare, asking Batman to work as a bodyguard for the Freeski, not even showing up with a briefcase of money. Terry turned right back around, but Butha pulled out a remote and said that he planted a bomb in Gotham that will go off unless he types in a code every 12 hours. Batman had to tackle him and took the remote, realizing that he wasn't lying. So now he has to defeat Kurare. But the problem is Bruce is on vacation in Malaysia and there's a hurricane, so he's impossible to reach. So Terry has to enlist Max's help, putting his hand on her shoulder, begging her to please find a way to call Bruce. Batman goes to meet up with Butha, but Max wasn't listening to Terry. So she followed him and was trying to look through Butha's hotel room, and this nigga was back again, asking for a tip. If he were to stop spending all the cash on McDonald's, he would probably be the richest nigga alive. She goes through the trash, finds some cash, and gets a call from Terry, letting him realize that she ain't listening and was in the hotel room. But look at Kurare posted up behind her, about to chop off the rest of her hair, missing the swing. So Max has to run into the bathroom and hides in the tub. Batman hears her scream on the phone and makes his way to her, seeing that she's perfectly fine and crying in the corner, talking about some, "Are you mad at me?" Yes, I am. Butha was hiding under a bridge, and the second he heard a bush shake, he pulled out a rocket launcher. Bro made sure to come extra prepared. Kurare got this man shook. He gets the weapon hit out of his hand and has a little sum to hold her back, and takes her sword while she takes out a knife to cut free and dodge his swing and up the pill, throwing it at him, turning him into a pile of mush. Turns out that the pill don't actually kill them, but erases their memory completely. Batman took up the remote and went over to Max and showed it to her, and she started typing, figuring out where the bomb is most likely located, and it's in the Gotham Museum of Armaments. They're at the museum and he almost gets his head cut clean off, telling Max to look for the bomb while he has to fight Kurare. Getting kicked and rolled, he was hiding. Frightened, picked up the statue and threw it at her, and Max was doing anything but her job. The device they were using to locate the bomb got destroyed. Batman was out there fighting the boogeyman. Look at the parkour, he doing all this, and Max is down there trolling. But luckily she finds the bomb and manages to stop it, and Batman handcuffs Kurare. Hi, I'm Dr. Wheeler. Are your kids troublemakers that piss you off when they don't wash the dishes? Don't worry, just send them to my ranch and I will get them straightened up. Just make sure to send them to me. Asking parents to send their kids away to an old rich man. Put him in jail right now, please. But it really became a problem when Chelsea got sent over to Dr. Wheeler's ranch. They got them over there in orange jumpsuits as if this was prison. Even got a fellow black man called Adam, painting nothing at all, fried his brain. Someone explains that Adam is like that because of something called the ISO. Don't have to tell me twice. Adam got hit with that tween cross, broke them ankles. Hey! Embarrassed him so much he started painting air. Batman goes to check out the ranch and Bruce tells Terry that this is a classic brainwashing scheme. Sir, can I please sleep? I'm tired. No! Take him away to the ISO. Batman tried to leave but got caught by the alarm, having to run through some guards, and looked over to see Bro flying too, chasing him, shooting him down in the forest. He had to throw a smoke bomb to manage to get away. Terry went to ask Bruce for a camera so that he can go in and film some evidence, and goes over to the ranch looking for Chelsea, getting a recorded convo of her explaining the torture. They put them in ISO with no light, no sound, treating them like Peter Griffin. But when Terry was trying to leave, this man Sean was putting his dirty mitts on Terry, pulled him back, got grabbed and punched, hit with the dodge and the karate chop to the back, until some guards pull up and Sean starts snitching, and Dr. Wheeler told them to take him away and pat down Terry, finding the camera and the recording, saying to lock Terry in a room, and the next morning they put them both in ISO, showing him the way. But they must not know that you can't call ISO without expecting a bit of defense. Got hit with a spin kick, Sean hit the ribs and an uppercut, and Terry the hook into a tackle. Got put in a headlock thinking he was toast, but Adam came through knocking him out, not even smiling. Plus, his hairline is crooked. No wonder he's pissed. They open up all the rooms and let everyone out, and Terry stays back to look for his bag, taking out the suit, pulling up to kick two guards to the ground, split kick into the left hook, turning around and getting tased. He couldn't believe it, said, "Man, don't do that shit again," letting him get up and gut punched him to his knees, going to the roof and seeing Sean holding Wheeler by the ledge, laughing and dropping him. But for some odd reason, Batman saves him, and Chelsea walks right past her dad, and I don't blame her. Everyone else is hugging their parents as if they're not the same ones who sent their kids there in the first place. So there's this guy Jim who is mad rich, but just learned that he got fired. And he's mad because his spending habits are insane. He's already spending 90% of his salary on nonsense, going home giving his family that broke hug. So he has to go meet with an old friend to set up some sketchy business opportunity, asking Jim to make a sonic wave device that can shatter steel. But he would need to steal the specifications or else he can't build it. That's too bad, that's not my problem. So Jim went ahead and robbed them niggas, hopped in the car and got chased down the highway, throwing down a force field to stop the cops, thinking he's free, until he looked in the mirror and saw Batman jumping off and launching some metal at the truck, chasing him down an alleyway and rolling in front, telling Jim that he's going to jail. But that wasn't happening. Knocked him back, missed the kick, got hit with the spin kick of doom, and decided to grapple up Batman and tase him, standing over him. But he was just faking. Threw the batarang and ended up getting flash bombed, turning around seeing that bro disappeared, walking around the corner seeing the barrel of a gun pointed at his face, getting shot at, and now his hands are stuck, while Jim manages to get away and even has the tech that changed the color of the car. But when he goes home, he's watching TV with his stepson, and his wife walks into the room, showing him prices for some Italian marble. He had to tell her to shut up, which led to both of them standing there appalled. He's broke as shit, and she's talking about some Italian marble. Ain't nobody got time to order pizza. So Jared sees Terry and mentioned the fact that his stepdad has been bugging lately. And off of just that, Terry connected the fact that the stepdad is probably the dude that stole the tech the other night. I ain't gonna lie, I'm never telling Terry a word about my life. He's way too good at his job. He follows Jim around on his bike and sees him committing a robbery again. So he puts on the suit and flies down. Jim saw Batman and turned back where he came from. This is what absolute Batman should have done when he saw Bane. Absolute Batman is 7 foot, by the way. But Terry loses sight of Jim again, but Jared was trying to figure out what was going on. So he went into the lab looking around, but heard a car pull up and decided to hide under the desk. But a spider crawled on his head and he screamed. So he got grabbed and picked up by the collar. And now Jim has to explain to his wife and kid, saying that he was just trying to be the dad that stepped up. But this man pulled out a gun, looking looking at them all types of devious, until they look at the security cameras and saw Batman outside. So Isvan picked up the nuke to boom Batman off the top of the roof onto a car, and even blew a hole through the front door. Who gon' tell him that he could have just opened it, and started blasting at Batman. Jim went ahead and equipped a weapon too, and when Isvan had Batman stuck and was about to wipe him off the map, he got his arm shot and he was stuck. And it was Jim talking about some stop. We lost. Oh ho ho ho, croissant fromage french fries, he must be speaking French. Cause what you mean, we hit him with the gut punch, hit his face, and got grabbed, and slid across the ground. And after all that was done, and Terry saw Jared at school, it turns out that the judge was lenient with Jim, so everything ended up perfectly fine. Anyways, there's this TV host called Peak, who can walk through walls and use his powers to stalk people, and exposes their secret on national television. Now me personally, I wanted to skip this episode because I find it boring. But this guy did manage to sneak a camera into the Batmobile and found out their secret, and threatened to expose it on TV. But he wanted Bruce's help because his molecules are all jacked up. But Bruce said nah and walked away. So bro said fine, this is the footage, and threw it at Bruce. And the second the disc hit the floor, he changed his mind and went to choke him out, pushing him towards the ledge. But Batman stepped in and saved Bruce, watching Peak just lose control and fall through the floors. So while Batman went to try and save Peak, Bruce was only worried about that footage, and Peak was done for anyway. Now back to an episode I actually care about. There's this family that's robbing a house. The mom here is in charge, pointing a gun at the butler, telling him to show them the safe, and they open it up. And she went through all the stuff just for one ruby ring. Her son was even pointing at the safe, asking her why they're just leaving the safe full, just walking away. Terry is in class and the teacher is giving them an assignment that will especially help the students who are failing. Hold up, why is she looking at Terry? But the assignment is to raise these egg-shaped babies, and he's paired up with Blade. He even passed her the baby, and she placed the kid face down. It was over. Might as well be a single father. Terry couldn't even get enough time to be Batman. The second Blade had the baby, she brought it right back to him. So he was in the Batmobile with the kid, and he was out there trying to hunt down the criminals with the baby, getting shot at, throwing the batarang to knock the gun, and I might have to slow this down. Placed the child on the ground, punched the face, flipped over, and kicked him to the floor, while the little rascal is just rolling, having to catch the baby real quick, smiling. That grade is about to look exquisite. But he pulled back out the gun. Terry had to find somewhere to hide, making his way down, and placed the baby in the garbage before flying back up to see that they escaped, and then had to grab the baby before they really tossed the baby away. The next day at school, everyone is giving the baby to their partners because, you know, co-parenting. But Blade was not trying to do her job, so Terry asked for a divorce. Went over to the Batcave and almost made the mistake of asking Bruce to watch the kid. That egg would have been the 8th Robin. Bruce gotta be the worst father of all time. So Terry went ahead and placed the baby on the roof, hoping the child stays asleep, and hopped down to stop the robbery, managing to hold one by the ankle and pinning him down. But the mom came through to punch his lights out and steps on her son's back, keeping the heels spotless. Missed 2 hits and landed the 3rd one, and they pushed Batman into some statues and made their escape. And it turns out that it wasn't a real vent, but their car. So now he also lost the baby. The family was back at their base, and the sons were confused as to why they keep stealing rubies. But the mom said it reminds her of their father. So they were like, but Ma, that left you for that 25-year-old, and got slapped in the face before hearing the baby cry. But Batman was tracking down the cries, since it's a robotic baby, so there's a specific frequency. So when they went to throw the baby out the window, he dives down to save him, securing the baby and chasing them down through traffic, making them land and throws down some smoke bombs, taking the sons out with ease, patting this one's head. The baby was in the backpack smiling, and suddenly started crying. And that's when Batman received a fist to his nose, dodged the stomp and got hit with a backhand, miss, weave, and cuts the bag strap with a batarang. But she had her net worth in the bag, so she dived down and Batman had to save her from falling. But she's a dumbass, so the bag opened up and everything fell anyway, and Terry managed to pass the class. They're at the airport waiting to pick up Nash. He checks his bag and the security goes through his stuff and finds this vial. So Nash explains that he ain't never seen that thing before a day in his life, and the security lets him through and seals off the area, going to the back and dropping off the vial to Buddy in green, while Nash tosses Terry his luggage and walks out with both girls. Going to the car, seeing the stalker land on the hood, looking at Terry, who's in the back frozen. couldn't believe his eyes. The stalker makes his way to Nash, grabbing his collar, turning him around and poking Terry with the stick, and has Nash strung up like a bad little kid who is planning to run away from home, holding him up on the rooftop, asking him where the green vial is. And once he gets the answer, he drops Nash off the stick and he lands into the car. Terry decides to chase after the stalker, who goes into the warehouse and finds a man tied up. But before he could rip off the tape, Batman punched him off screen and into some suitcases, hitting him with a mean combo, taking his stick and stomps him out before getting 2-foot punched into a wall. So Batman was ready. Went in for the right, into a kick, got pushed back to the wall and got stopped when some agents pull up, saying that the stalker is working with them to track a man named Falseface, a mercenary working for Cobra that can switch his identity whenever he wants, saying that this organization Cobra is asking for $10 billion or else they'll release a chemical weapon in Gotham. Once Batman heard 10 billion, he was ready to team up with the stalker. That type of greed must be punished. So they make their way to the gym looking for Falseface and go through a secret entrance where Batman tells the stalker to wait and chill for a sec, but he was not listening. This man found the high ground and jumped down, landing on this bump and knocking 2 more away to then put his bare foot on bro's face. He walks around with no shoes. He's stepping in dog piss and rubbing it in dude's face. Kicked one to the ceiling and hit the volley. And look at this. Used the stick to knock out these two, bonked another one on the skull, and gave us that first person POV. Seeing a train with dirty toes, ready to stomp out his teeth and put him on his back. Batman had to stop him, and I actually felt kinda bad. I ain't never seen no one laid out drooling like that. I think it's safe to say that the stalker needs that weapon taken away. Batman had to take bro up and show the stalker that he's dead now, tossing him back down. All this and Falseface ain't even around. Batman found a disc in bro's pocket though and shoved him to the side, inserting the disc and pulling up the blueprints, showing that it's Gotham Plastics. So they went over to that company instead and tied up the orange weirdo. And once again, the stalker is only here to kill people. Threw his spear to the chest and blew bro up to pieces, kicked the gun away, and oh, heel to the ribs is egregious. Man even saw the vehicle heading at Mach 10 and wasn't phased, simply just kneed his target off. And Batman had to leap over to get the vial and ends up headfirst into whatever this is. The stalker saw that and actually got up to check on bro. Never mind, he was just making sure the vial is safe. And they questioned the orange dude cause there was some info they were missing, and it turns out there was already someone out there who was infected. Finding out that it's Falseface and trying to take him down, but he tases the stalker and makes his way to the elevator. Terry was trying to be a good dude, making sure the stalker is alive and well, but got choked out in return. Go get that nigga. And found him looking like Nash. Said ain't no way. And turned his head to straight mush. Gave him a face only a mother could love. Trying to tase Batman. This man Terry gets tased about 75 times per episode. You would think you would expect it by now. They land into a warehouse where Falseface sets the place on fire, sneaking up and using a baseball bat to mollywop Batman. Fixed his posture and hit the golf swing for the hole-in-one. Getting ready to finish the job. Misses though and gets kicked back, and he wasn't ready. Got met with a fist to his mouth, made him eat his own face. An uppercut to the chin. He tried to shake it off, but got lucky because the place started to go up in flames. And Batman got stuck under some rubble, but the virus was starting to infect him. So he runs off, and the stalker shows up to save Batman and run out the building, seeing Falseface laying down outside, looking like a dead fly. We see a group break into this vault, but the man outside gets stepped on by Batman, and he walks into the vault, spoiling their plan, even making the big robot dude smash into the wall and having to take care of this dude with chainsaws in all the wrong places, standing over him and getting snuck, dodged and socked him in the face, and now he's getting stared down by the whole group. The metal man runs into him and bulldozes him into the structure, and he falls on his face, and they manage to escape and make their way to this old man, forcing him to fix them up. And back at the Batcave, Terry is showing Bruce a piece of metal that fell from one of those guys, and Bruce says that it comes from Dr. Corso. He helped make a piece of the Batsuit, so Batman goes over to meet Corso, who shoots him up to knock him out, and when he wakes up, he cleared out the whole place. So Max was like, hold up, how come he ain't kill you? I don't know. And she called him up and asked for help. So Corso made his way over and got met with a face full of bed sheets. Pause. And he explains that the group of criminals have his wife and are forcing him to help them, and even showed Batman a pic of her under the moonlight. Dr. Corso was out there moving like Leonardo DiCaprio. He way too old to be with a woman like these. But he tells Batman that he has fail-safe devices in those thugs, and once he gets his wife back, he's gonna boom them. But as you can see by their faces, they were cooked. Hey, it was all his fault! And they got to trying to jump Batman, even picked him up by the neck. He had to throw down a smoke bomb and jump out the window, and decided to wait and follow them. And he gets a call from Bruce, who tells him that the failsafe is voice activated with a special code. And when he follows them, it turns out that the doc followed him and asked the doc what the code is, but he was not gonna tell. No. And they look up at the window and see his wife April smooching the enemy. He couldn't believe his eyes. Oh, the horror! Who would have thought that she never really loved him? Oh no. He was making too much noise though, so Batman locked him away and got pressed, getting smacked, hitting the backflip to land smoothly onto the light pole, which leads to the first dude getting electrocuted. He takes out the next two easily and forces the metal one to run headfirst into a wall, but ends up getting passed around like the doc's wife, getting held down and almost chopped to pieces until he figures out that the password was April Moon, the name of the wife and the moon in the back. So Terry just started spamming it to deactivate all their gear, but the main guy was able to run off and the doc was no longer locked up in the cellar, and we see that the dude went back to see the doc, not knowing that Corso had already seen his wife cheating on him. So let's just say we ain't seen that dude no more. They're at the arcade where Corey bumps into Nash, who's just being mean per usual, and we see that there's someone watching him. He's at school and he's checking his email and sees that he got a message from Simon, the creator of the Sentry video game that Corey loves. Simon is inviting Corey to his home, so he goes over to the mansion and meets with the creator of the video game, and he's not the only kid there, and Simon wants to turn them into real life sentries. Batman goes out to do his job and finds some sentries breaking into a building. One of them rush in, miss the swing, and ends up eating rocks, while the other two coordinate to jump him, and after they get what they came for, they run out, but not before blowing the place up, leaving Batman to have to crawl out from the rubble. So Terry makes the connection and decides to go over to Simon's house and gets met with some miniature robots flying after him, but he dealt with that shit, and Simon had to show up and tell Batman that there is no funny business going on, everything here is perfectly legal. But when Batman pretended to leave, he actually left a listening device, so when Simon called up his sentries, Batman was listening in and went to intercept their target before they could, meeting this Discord mod and trying to get information. But the sentries pulled up and they took bro through the roof and dropped him off in front of Simon. But Simon was mad confused. Why did y'all drop him off here? Y'all should have just killed him, fry him like some bacon. And Batman showed up to toss down the evidence, cause turns out that the man who needs a bigger shirt had filed a lawsuit against Simon, and that's why Simon wanted him gone. And they read the file and realized that Simon ain't even really the creator of the game, so they turned on him. This guy walks into the store and the owner calls him fat, so he locked the door and walked up towards him, which led to bro panicking, trying to give him all the money and sounding the alarm at the same time. But dude in black ain't want no money. He's wildin'. Pick that shit back up. He takes out a whip and is trying to teach the old man a lesson, saying that he deserves this because he mistreats his employees. Batman then breaks through the glass and the dude in black is called Payback and claims to be a vigilante, saying that him and Batman are one of the same. Batman had to shut him up and save the boss while Payback got away. Bruce did some research and realized that Payback was finding his victims by listening to the sad stories of teenagers going to counseling. So he went over there too and went through the office computer to let Bruce hack through it until he got smacked in the back of his head, waking up seeing these two niggas staring over him, going back to the Batcave and telling Bruce to pull up the info for Howard that works with the therapist, and he finds the laser that Payback uses and got slammed in the back of the head again, dodging the next attack and stopped Howard from picking up the phone, walking up and getting backhanded away. Howard was picking up a table but got tackled and sat down, so Batman picked him up and questioned him, but Howard wasn't Payback because Payback was out there on TV right now putting in work as we speak, sending this couple off a cliff. Terry had to come out of nowhere to save them, Going back to the Batcave where Bruce is telling Terry how garbage he is. He just beat up an innocent man. Give me back that suit, gang. So Terry goes to snitch about it to the counseling group. And next thing you know, Bruce is getting attacked by Payback in an elevator. Bruce was trying to hold on for dear life until Batman swooped in and saved him. And long story short, Payback was the therapist's son. So after hanging out with his friends, Terry is going on the subway but sees a suspicious figure and decided to follow him. Bro ain't even do none but wear a trench coat. But he follows him down the train tracks and disappears into the darkness. And the next morning, Terry is missing. No one knows where he is. Bruce is typing on that big ass computer and can't even find him. So Bruce decides to go outside for once and knocks at Max's door, talking about some, "Where's Terry?" Not even a hi. Hello? Old man needs to learn some manners. But she points and says that he was last seen at the subway station, and she decides to follow Bruce. We see Terry under a pile of rocks, and the little kid is just standing there and decides to help Batman find the fastest way out of the tunnels. Only thing is, Shriek is the menace that has been hiding using those tunnels and is suiting up to take out Batman for good, sending shockwaves to block him in. Bruce is still standing there on the platform with his cane, seeing a gang of T's pass by, and Max points, saying that the backpack is Terry's. So Bruce follows their path and knocks at the door, asking for that backpack, and walks in, trying to take back the bag. So they ask for 20 bucks, and Bruce was like, bruh, 20 bucks? These niggas so broke. And the second Bruce said deal, they jumped his old ass. Batman finds a way out and sends the kid through first, just for little bro to climb up the ladder and see Shriek posed up. Who he feeling like? Max walks in and sprays mace in their eyes, letting Bruce get the chance to pick up his walking stick and slam one in the head, hitting the stomach and then the jaw, and ask bro where he got that backpack and made sure to get that information by any means. So they go back down to the subway and Bruce tells Max to go over there and sneak in, and snitches immediately, getting her arrested and sneaking in himself, acting like a bitch. The kid tells Shriek to blow a hole through the wall, and for some reason he listened, which leads to water flowing through. So Batman swims up and saves the kid from falling down to his doom. And look at Shriek stepping on screen, but he ain't hear Bruce spawn in. Went for the combo, putting him on his back and getting them arrested. Bruce goes to see a chiropractor, and Terry takes the time to walk Ace, just passing the time, until this guy runs past. Ace started growling. Bro must have forgot to put on deodorant. So Ace chased after him, trying to remind him to take showers, but he pulled out a gun and started shooting, getting bit on the arm. Terry had to pull Ace off. Yo Ace, chill out, back off. Started sprinting towards the man again, who jumps into a car and drives off, with Ace running them down. So Terry is out there trying to find out where Ace ran off to, while Bruce is telling Terry to focus on being Batman. Ace got more motion than any other dog on the streets. He'll be fine. And back at the Batcave, they find out who Ace was chasing after, and it's a man named Ronnie who does illegal dog fights. So that's why Ace recognized this weirdo. Back when he was just a pup, Ronnie was treating him like garbage, poking him in the eye and having him fight other dogs. Ace only managed to escape because the police busted Ronnie, but Ace ended up walking through the cold streets of Gotham. I don't understand how you could be homeless in Gotham. The rent gotta be like $4 a month. Bruce told the driver to stop and came out the car like, "This is where my parents were killed," turning around the corner, seeing a clown, and sat him down with one elbow. Ace wasn't too far, and when the clown came back, Ace jumped on him, got pushed off, so Bruce broke bro's arm and shoved him to the side, placing the cane on his forehead, telling him to go home. And that's how Bruce found Ace. So anyways, Ace gets picked up and they try to sell Ace to Ronnie. So he's like, "Hey, I remember this dog. Why are you trying to sell me back my dog?" Batman finds the location and ends up locked in an arena, and Ronnie opens up the door and lets out this abomination. A lot of y'all would be like, "But she's very gorgeous to me," and try to convince me that she has a nice personality. Y'all gotta stop and open y'all eyes. But Batman deals with it, and the earthquake from that thing falling caused Ace's cage to tumble over and open. So Ace attacked Ronnie off rip, dealing with that fool and going back to help Batman, who apparently ain't defeat that beast yet, and now finally beats that thing. And they left Ronnie hanging over the side of a ship.